You need to sell these altcoins right now and buy these altcoins instead. This is an extremely tricky market to navigate because you have a lot of utility coins bleeding in the market. Layer 1s, layer 2s, projects with seemingly super strong fundamentals just can't catch a break from a price action perspective. But on the other hand, to contrast that, you have meme coins absolutely exploding and a small cohort of the crypto community making millions of dollars off these memes. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about the very important subject of asset allocation and whether now is actually the time to start shifting some of these utility coins into some of the more hotter coins like the meme coins. So we're going to discuss today exactly the types of coins that you could consider rebalancing, the reasons for and against, and also the altcoins that I would be putting my money into instead. So hopefully by the end of this video, you have a better understanding as to where we currently sit in the altcoin cycle, but also the types of assets you should be consolidating your portfolio towards, because it's such an important skill to master if you want to succeed in the crypto market. So let's actually set the scene here. Bitcoin has been on a crazy explosive run-up since December 2022. But in recent weeks, despite super strong price action for many months in a row, we have started to see Bitcoin stagnate in terms of price. And we've seen this sideways chop, which has confused a lot of market participants, shaken out a lot of people that got too bullish near the top, and has started to scare people about the current cycle top being in. That's something I want to talk about today because a lot of people are now saying that was the top and the crypto bull run, like we thought it was happening, is not going to happen. And during this chop, despite altcoins having a decent period of performance, altcoins have actually bled a lot of their gains that they made earlier in the year over the past month, as you can see in front of you. Many of the alts, the utility altcoins, as I mentioned at the start of today's video, are actually down. You have big infrastructure plays like Beam that are down. ENA, a new DeFi play, is down from its launch. Injective, Lido, Stacks, coins that you probably hold in your portfolio. Matic, AVAX, Sui, Aptos, etc. all down. But look at what's up. PEPE, Bonk, Floki, all the meme coins are the coins that are holding the crypto market afloat, at least in terms of the altcoin total capitalization. This cycle is like no other. You have meme coins significantly outperforming other altcoins, whilst most low cap alts and a lot of the on-chain alts are actually bleeding. You can see a lot of the meme coins are absolutely printing and are making a cohort of the crypto community very, very rich. And even after the recent Roaring Kitty return, which resulted in the huge GameStop rally and a bit of meme coin mania setting back into the market, the strongest performers were coins like PEPE, which bounced most heavily on the news, which shows that the retail market is very receptive towards these type of coins when we do get catalysts. So that's just signaling to the market once again that these are the types of coins that when the market does get a bid, tend to outperform. If you want to get your hands on some PEPE, even if you did miss the latest run up in price, I actually have an exclusive offer available for the first 300 users who use my BloFin link, where you can get 800,000 PEPE tokens airdropped for free to your account if you have a net deposit of over $100 over the next 12 days. So all you have to do is go onto the link in the description, click that link, make an account, deposit net $100. So that means the amount that you deposit into the exchange over the 12-day period is larger than the amount that you withdraw over $100. And then you can get 800,000 PEPE for free. And for those that want to win even more PEPE, we have a pretty crazy lucky wheel here where you can spin the wheel and potentially win 50 million PEPE. And you can actually get unlimited entries to spin this wheel if you build up trading volume on the exchange. So for every $10,000 in futures volume that you accumulate on the exchange, you will get one entry to spin the wheel. And every time you spin, you have a chance of winning 50 million PEPE. You may win less, you may win 10 mil, 8 mil, 5 mil, but you could win up to 50 million. So this is a fun way for you to actually get your hands on some meme coins if you did miss the latest PEPE run, using the link in the description, and that's only for the first 300 users. But let's go back into the discussion regarding altcoins, because right now sentiment in the altcoin market is not great. If you scroll through your Twitter timeline, you'll see a bunch of people saying things like the cycle top is in, a lot of people capitulating their altcoin positions. Even in my Discord community, some people are asking, should they be selling right now? The sentiment is not great, but this does come as a surprise when you look from a completely objective opinion at the price action of Bitcoin, obviously going on a huge rally from its lows to its current level of 289%. And even looking at total 3, okay, it has had a correction. It's still majorly up. This is the index that tracks the altcoins, so it excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's only the top 125 alts, and from its lows, it is even up 123%. So you'd be mistaken for thinking that the market is absolutely insane complaining about the recent altcoin price action when you look at the charts, because Bitcoin's been performing well and total 3 seemingly structurally is really good. It broke through a major resistance level. Okay, we've had a pullback, but it's been consolidating. It doesn't look too dire, right? Yet you have these comments even from major crypto analysts that, like Don Alt, that are saying that they feel like it's a cycle top. It's a cycle top kind of mood. A lot of people are saying, are alts ever going to run? Is retail ever going to come back? And there's lots of contrasting opinions surrounding this. So the question we have to ask ourselves as investors is, why, if the charts look okay, they don't look amazing, like they're not pumping and making new highs, but they don't look bad from a macro perspective. If the charts look okay, why is sentiment so poor? At least on Twitter and the private communities that I'm in, why are people feeling so disheartened? The best way to understand this is for me to break down this tweet here by Crypto Cred. There is a lot of alpha in this tweet, and in my opinion, it holds the key to explaining why we are currently in the market predicament that we're in, and it also holds the key to explaining what you can do to make sure you maximize this cycle regarding your portfolio allocation. But before I can get into the nitty-gritty in terms of what alts you should be buying / selling, you have to understand where we sit, and Crypto Cred summarizes this so well, and I really enjoyed reading this post. So he says, part of the reason why there is so much disagreement regarding where we currently sit in the cycle is because returns have been so unevenly distributed. Additionally, a lot of previous cycle signposts have been absent or entirely invalid this cycle. Number 1, the conventional risk curve trade of Bitcoin to ETH to large caps to mid caps to small caps has been unprofitable. The barbell portfolio of Bitcoin and memes has dominated. So this is one of the reasons why there is that discrepancy in people's opinions as to where we currently sit in the cycle, because we haven't really followed the path to alt season that was very effective in 2021. You'd have Bitcoin pumping, then you'd have Ethereum catching up, that liquidity would be distributed into the large caps, and then we'd have a massive alt season. But this cycle has been different, with the most optimal strategy to the market actually being this: holding a hyper-conservative basket of assets, aka Bitcoin, on the left-hand side, and being hyper-aggressive, aka meme coins, on the right-hand side. This barbell strategy has been the most effective portfolio construction for these market conditions, and it's because you have spot ETF flows driving Bitcoin and an institutional narrative. ETH has not had that due to its delays for its ETF. The large caps are suffering from major dilution, so there are so many launches currently occurring that the large caps haven't been interesting for the majority of people, and you combine that with the fact a lot of them have major unlocks. Like even if we scroll through CoinGecko right now, not everything has unlocks, but a lot of the major ones do. Think Aptos, Sui, Cardano, Polkadot. They're like coins that were outperforming last cycle, but really they haven't gained much traction this cycle at all. No compelling reason for retail to buy them. Nears ran thanks to AI, but Polygon significantly underperformed. There is a big problem in terms of dilution, but there's also a problem in terms of narrative. Because these coins are so high in market cap, it takes a lot of liquidity to send them higher, but the narrative has not been there due to the absence of retail. And the retail that has come in has decided to completely skip phase 3 and jump straight to not even really a phase 4 alt season in the true sense of the word, but more in the sense of a meme coin season, a meme coin super cycle, if you would like to call it. So that's been the most effective strategy this cycle, holding Bitcoin and meme coins. I'll get into later in the video whether I think going forward, if this is the best way you should be positioning yourself, but I want to keep going through his points here first. Point number 2, ETH BTC has been remarkably weak. Historically, it has benefited from a risk-on environment. This has also spilled over into ETH L1, L2 proxy trades. One thing to note is that proxy trades / beta trades in this market have been historically underperforming. So in the past, a lot of the time, you could essentially look at a leader. So let's say an L1 was running, like Solana, right? Solana was running. What you could do is you could essentially start front running the rotation game into the small caps and the mid caps by buying the main DEX on Solana and by buying the main money market on Solana. And typically what we would see is liquidity rotate down. And while Solana, let's say 10x's, the DEXs and the small caps on the chain would 100x. Well, this time around, that hasn't really been the case. Across crypto, as a general rule of thumb, the leaders have continued to outperform. And the highest RR trades have actually been on the main tokens of each respective ecosystem. And you can make the same argument for meme coins. Although a lot of the smaller cap memes have been outperforming, if you simply just bought WIF and PEPE and POPCAT and these main ones and just chilled, you would actually be outperforming a lot of people that are mid-curving it and trying to allocate into some of these mid to low cap memes, betting on things like exchange listings, etc. So while I don't think playing narratives in terms of ecosystems is a stupid idea in crypto, I definitely think it has been underperforming. And something I talk about a lot on these shows, identifying strength and longing leaders, I think is going to continue to be, at least until we do see a crazy old season, if that comes, the most optimal strategy for approaching this market. And as Cred says here, ETH BTC has certainly not helped bleeding. And there are many reasons for that. Maybe we'll have to go through in another video, but the TLDR is ETH doesn't have that institutional narrative, that supply shock narrative that Bitcoin has. I think one day it could definitely get it, and maybe sooner than we think, but at least not in May. And it's going to underperform probably until it has that stronger narrative behind it. Number 3, meme coins have been consistently leading, and rotating from that sector has been costly, whereas memes pumping has historically been an indicator of being late in the cycle. That's quite interesting. Last cycle, meme coins pretty much marked the local top, or the cycle top actually, with the final meme coin pump. However, now meme coins are operating as the market leaders. They've actually led into pumps because that's what people are gravitating towards first. And that's why this whole argument here is being built by Cred about there being a huge discrepancy between people thinking that the top is in and people thinking that the top isn't in. Because if you've been in meme coins, right, you would be hugely happy with how the market has been performing. But if you're too heavy in utility coins, you may be underwhelmed with how the market's been performing. So naturally, the meme coin crowd is going to hold a different sentiment towards the market versus the crowd that has been positioned in coins that have been underperforming. Point number 4, Bitcoin hasn't offered a series of previously standard bull market pullbacks of 30 to 40%. This has created a bunch of early sellers / sideline traders. Also led to proliferation of left truncated cycle discourse, shorter cycle, super cycle, and other heterodox variants. So basically what he's saying here is that most cycles Bitcoin has these major heavy pullbacks, as we saw in the lead up to even the 2021 all-time high. A big pullback here, 40% here, 40% here, maybe it's slightly less, 30%, but you get the point. This time around, we have had pullbacks, but really, this has been the biggest pullbacks so far, the only real substantial one to note. And even from peak to trough, that's only 23%. So that has led to a much more difficult environment for people to trade because, as he mentions here, it creates early sellers and sidelined traders. And number 5, this is a very important point that I made before. There are so many new tokens amplified by the amount of meme coins launching. And actually, last month was the largest month ever for crypto tokens created. Like, this really paints the picture. The amount of dilution in the market is kind of insane. This is the highest number we've ever seen. And for that reason, it no longer means that everything that's listed goes up for weeks/months. In fact, most of the new launches we've seen have done their airdrop and just bled and bled and bled and never reversed, because there are so many new launches. And one of the reasons why this is the case, and I will unpack this fully in a future video, this whole dilution point, because I think it's important, is because a lot of the VCs that made investments in 2022, when the market was still holding up in the first half of the year, and even in the latter half of 2021, they didn't get time to launch, because when the bear market set in, once their products were ready to ship on the open market and launch their tokens, the market conditions were bad. So this led to a period where developers were pausing and delaying their new launches. And as soon as the market started to pick up in December 2023, they're all like, okay, we got to launch in Q1. So that's led to a bunch of launches in March, April, May, but not everyone got around to listing. Exchanges will only list a certain amount of tokens per week. So a lot of people got pushed to May, June, July, August. So there's still going to be more dilution to come. So it's really the highest influx of new launches we've also seen since 2021. Difference being, in 2021, we had the retail demand, which was insatiable for these tokens, which is why tokens would list and moon. If you got a Binance listing, it was pretty much a 10x moonshot. Whereas now, there's not so much retail in the market. There's not as much liquidity. Market participants are generally more experienced, so they aren't falling for the same VC tricks. They're actually going against the grain and trading meme coins. Thus, a lot of the new launches haven't performed well. So Cred summarizes these points by saying, taking all of this into account, it's entirely plausible that you have trader A who rode Bitcoin, Sol, and memes and feels like stuff is hot and needs to cool off. Whereas trader B has barely made any money this cycle yet and feels like stuff hasn't even picked up, and everything in between. Most of crypto Twitter thinks crypto will go up and to the right over time. We just disagree about the fine print, and the fine print is obviously where we currently sit in terms of the cycle. So we've gotten to a very important part of the video where I'm going to give my opinion on what you should be doing in terms of balancing your portfolio, because I understand it's very tempting right now, if you're holding a lot of these utility coins that are down, to just rotate into some of the hotter stuff. Maybe it's PEPE, maybe it's WIF, maybe it's even Solana, maybe it's some of the more risky meme coin stuff. Is it even worth holding your AVAXs, your Aptos, Suis, Phantoms, ETHs in this market anymore when continuously we see other narratives outperform? Well, firstly, I think it's very important to look at the facts. What has been performing and what hasn't been performing? Because without facts, we can't really come to a concrete answer to the question of, should you rotate? So some key observations here is that the L1 trade is still alive, but there has been heavy dispersion. So we have seen Solana clearly leading that trade, but there have been other L1s which have performed and clearly outperformed the L2s. The meme coins have crushed it. They've been the strongest performers in the market. AI has actually been a very strong performer as well. In terms of people that have been watching my content, I think you're in a decent position because I have talked a lot about AI and meme coins, and these have actually outperformed in the market. And this is something that I've echoed in my private community on Discord, where when I was buying tokens during the major dip on May 1st, I was prioritizing the strong coins only, like Sol, WIF, PEPE, TON, Ondo. And what do you think on the bounce ended up performing the strongest? It was Sol, WIF, PEPE, TON. Ondo was kind of flat, but it still held up compared to a lot of other alts which gave up the rest of their gains. So we were able to print on the bounce here. And if you do go into the Discord, you can see a lot of people, although most people have been losing money in this market, a lot of people in the group have actually managed to outperform during this period because I have prioritized the strength. And the reason why I've prioritized strength is because it's very important in this market. As I mentioned, the leaders have been leading. The laggards haven't been playing the same catch-up game that they would in 2021. In 2021, you could basically bet on any coin that hadn't run and bank on the fact that at some point it would and would eventually end up outperforming. But this cycle is very different. Long the winners and cut the losers. That has been the most effective approach so far to this cycle. And I think in the group, we are definitely becoming winners. And the viewers of this YouTube channel, I don't want to isolate you. You are also winners with the content that I put out here as well. By the way, yesterday I did open up a few more spots on the group. I opened up 300 extra spots. Over 200 of them have already been taken. It says 100 here, but that was updated last night. Now it's actually 200 when I woke up this morning. So you've got to be quick if you do want to get in. There's another 100 spots. And this is basically the community where I give a lot of information that maybe I can't share on YouTube, or just more in-depth research alongside my amazing team of analysts. We have Fabian, who's one of the best macro analysts in crypto. He absolutely smashed the macro stuff today regarding CPI with his macro outlook, which is super valuable. We have Doc providing setups, trades, high time frame commentary. Paradise is trading like a degen all day. We even have an Airdrop hub. So it's been an amazing community to be a part of, and I want to continue building it out. And I've kept it very limited at 1,000 people because I want to build that real sense of community amongst that 1,000 people. And that's why I've kept it closed for so long. But I did decide to open up just a few more slots to let some loyal community members that have been waiting in. So if you do want to get access to the group, link in the description, you can sign up for the waitlist. This is the last time that I will keep the waitlist open in at least a month. So this is your last chance basically to get in for the next month. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that is in the group. You've been absolutely amazing. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to build out this product with you. We've got lots of giveaways, IDOs, etc. coming to the members of the group. And that's absolutely amazing. I'm really enjoying spending my time in there. But continuing on this topic of strength, it's interesting, whilst the meme coins have been outperforming a lot of the VC coins. So you could consider that pretty much the antonym to the meme coins in crypto, have actually been underperforming. A lot of these new launches, Wormhole down 59%, Starknet down 40%. And this is largely due to dilution, but also because people are sick of playing this VC game. People want an edge, and they feel like they have more of an edge in memes. Now, memes aren't completely fair either. There are sniper bots. There are insiders trading them. It's not a completely fair landscape, but I totally get why retail gravitates towards them more, because the narrative is certainly a lot stronger than VCs dumping on my head on launch. Although that's not always the case, I want to make that clear. It's certainly a powerful narrative. And you can see here, it's reflected also in the price. A lot of these new launches down on launch. There were a few that outperformed. Tia and Say were very strong performers, but interestingly, they launched at a lower FDV. So the ones that are launching at reasonable valuations tend to do well, and the ones that launch too high tend to bleed. Maybe, and if you're a VC watching this video, maybe we should be a little bit more realistic with our valuations on launch, because the reason why VCs like to launch tokens high, by the way, is because the seed round investors that buy in super cheap want to make huge multiples on launch so they can sell. And I totally get that, but don't you think longer term, it would be still net better for your bags if you launch at a lower price, because that gives you the time to build a genuine community, get sustainable price action on launch, better and more improved sentiment, which thus increases the valuation of your longer term vesting bags. Just something to think about. I think we've become a little bit short-sighted in this space, and that's just a note to the VCs out there, but this is clearly what's happened. So now let's look at the data as to what has been performing year to date versus what hasn't, because this does hold the key as to where we should be focusing our attention. So ETH is up 26%, Sol's up 39%, but it's ran 600% since this time last year. TON's up 200%. AVAX is down 17%. NIA's up 100%. ADA is significantly down. Phantom's up. Aptos down. Mina down. Say down. Sui is slightly up. All the layer 2s are down. They've been absolutely smacked because there's so many new L2s launching, and the narrative with ETH is fairly weak. You can also see the low float high FDV coins, as I mentioned before. When they launch too high, they get absolutely smacked. All of these are down. Yet Bitcoin and the memes are up. A lot, not just up. POPCAT's up 5,900%. Shiba's up 125%. Doge 65, that's been the most boring of the lot because you have Pepe up 671 and WIF up 1,700%. So the barbell strategy with Bitcoin and memes has been the most effective strategy. Layer 1s on average out of the coins that I've mentioned here performed 24% year to date. Layer 2s are down 36%. Low float high FDV coins are down 32%, and Bitcoin and memes are up 1,400%. So should you be reallocating now? Is it too late to allocate? This is the question on everyone's lips. Out of layer 2s and these high FDV coins, and even some layer 1s into Bitcoin and memes, should you be making that rotation now? Well, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, how concentrated are you to utility coins. And I say utility, but this can basically be, infrastructure in general, layer ones, layer twos, these coins that maybe haven't run so much, but have historically been important to the crypto ecosystem. How heavy are you in those coins relative to your meme coin bags? I did a portfolio video last week. I think I put my meme coin weighting around 21%. The exact figure will be in the video. It may vary, but from memory, it's around 20%. Maybe if you only have 5% exposure to memes, given the fact they've been outperforming, you should probably consider upping that weighting. Does this mean you need to sell your layer twos now at a loss and buy meme coins? Not necessarily, because there are other factors. You can rebalance from next time you take profits, you can use some of those profits and put it, let's say, back into memes, or you can use fresh income that's coming into crypto, and instead of reallocating to L1s, you can allocate more to memes. The other way you can do things is, if you want to trim off, if you're significantly underexposed, let's say, to memes and AI and these hotter narratives, you can trim the fat off some of the coins that you don't really have much conviction in and put it into coins you have more conviction in. This isn't just relevant to memes, but in general, you should be consolidated in the things that you have conviction in this market. If you need help with making a brutal decision surrounding an altcoin position, remember this. Holding at the current price is pretty much the same as you accepting that you'd be willing to buy at the current price. So if you're holding Solana at $130, due to opportunity cost, that's basically like you saying, I would be willing to buy Solana here at $130. If the answer to the question, would I buy Solana here at $130 is no, but you choose to continue holding it, maybe there's a slight flaw in your thinking and you should consider readjusting your allocations a little bit. If the answer is yes, this is just a general rule of thumb, maybe you can hold that position. So if you're completely underexposed, not just to memes, this isn't just relevant to memes, I'm talking about strength here. And the strength has been memes and AI. There are some other strong trends as well. DPIN's been extremely strong. That's something I talk about a lot. Any coincidence that the narratives I always talk about are the strongest performers? No, there's no coincidence. It's because I understand how this market works this cycle. And the quicker you can adapt and shift to the new cycle meta, the better off you're going to be. So I learned pretty long ago, and in crypto talk, that's not that long, but in the scheme of this cycle, maybe 6 months ago, that the strategy of playing the laggards isn't going to work. And I know this because I got burnt on the L2 trade. I'm not the perfect trader. I made some F-ups in terms of allocation later in Q3 last year, where I went too heavy into L2s and the EIP upgrade didn't result in as strong of a run-up as I thought it would. And for that reason, I was caught in some positions where, okay, I didn't lose money, but the opportunity cost, if I put more money into Sol, I could have made a 6, 7x, meme coins, etc. So this market is all about opportunity cost. It's not just about whether you make a profit or a loss on a trade. So I learned that from the L2 experience. And since then, I've been much more pragmatic. And that's why we've been able to hit a lot of these narratives much stronger. And I'll, of course, continue to share the narratives I think will outperform and the new stuff here on the channel with you. And also in my community on Discord, that's where I'll be posting a lot of alpha. Let me give you a sneak peek of something I posted today, because I want the YouTube community to eat as well, even though I might post some stuff first here in the Discord. Spec. I really like Spec. It's a new AI play. I'm looking at this major support level. That's a little bit of alpha for you. I've also leaked my Phantom trade as well. So I'm going to stop leaking stuff because we need to let the community in the Mars High Club also eat. But there's a link in the description if you want to claim the last 100 spots actually at the time of recording this video. So it's going pretty quick. You can sign up for the waitlist. There's obviously a chance that if it's over allocated by the time you're watching this, that you won't be approved in 10 days time. But I guess the only way to know will be to sign up for the waitlist, and in 10 days time, the first 300 are going to be let in. So that's that. And I think that pretty much summarizes my thoughts here. I don't think you should be FOMOing out of quality positions in the market, because there are still infrastructure plays which are quality. That's not the message. I think TON is a very interesting ecosystem. I'll just go through the top 100 right now for you. I think there are good things being built on NEAR. I think Chainlink is a fantastic protocol and a great RWA proxy. Matic's been smacked, but I do see the merit in terms of their gaming ecosystem. Render is a leader of AI. Okay, maybe I wouldn't buy Cosmos, maybe I wouldn't buy Mantle, maybe I wouldn't buy Stellar. Filecoin's a decent play. So it's all about going through and picking the ones that can actually outperform from the utility category. Stacks, I think, is building quality infrastructure. Arweave has their supercomputer. Yes, this is a utility coin. Yes, this is infra. But you see the difference between Arweave and Cardano? Arweave has a strong narrative around it. And that's why it's been outperforming. Arbitrum, it's struggling. I do actually like it as a pick out of the L2s, but it has been struggling and I want to see a reversal there. The L2s just aren't really filling me with much confidence. Sui, I think strong. Injective has some good elements. Thorchain and Phantom I like. Would I buy Lido? Probably not. Would I buy Algorand? Probably not. So you've got to really be selective, right? So that's not to say utility coins are trash. There are some great infrastructure plays which will perform well, but it's just about highlighting the importance of being in the strength. And sometimes you just have to left curve the market and submit. There are just some narratives which are going to outperform and you got to get some skin in the game. Whether that means rebalancing a little bit out of coins you don't have conviction in or using new buying opportunities as a chance to up your weighting to certain coins instead of others. There's also, I want to remind you, a link to the PEPE Lucky Spin in the description if you do want to sign up and have your go at spinning the wheel. As you build up trading volume, you will unlock spins, or you can simply deposit $100 and get your 800,000 PEPE at the end of the period. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out.